who's got the more powerful being, Pokemon or Digimon? What do you guys think? Just based on what you know now, what do you think?
Truthfully, a hard one. It's hands down Pokemon. Hands down. You have Pokemon like Arceus, who is the creator of the universe, and Mew, the very first Pokemon.
Just so you know, it is pronounced Arceus.
Okay.
By wiki definition, it is how it says it's pronounced.
That is... Okay.
That's how I've always known it pronounced. But
Arceus or
Arceus is how...
Arceus?
Yeah.
I mean, it says...
Arceus is how I remember it being pronounced.
I mean, maybe the wiki's wrong, but it does say... It says Arceus.
I just assumed it was Arceus because he was kind of like the Ark of the Covenant.
Well, it's still Ark.
You put plates on him. Yeah.
It's just AS instead of ES.
In the third season of Digimon, though, they have that thing that just deletes everything it touches. Now, I get your argument that these are gods, but do we really see them doing anything powerful in Pokemon? I mean, they can be crammed into a ball by a 10-year-old child.
Arceus or Arceus, just say it however you want, honestly. I don't care. One of, I believe I read earlier, 19 mythical Pokemon, which is technically like a step above the legendary status.
Your Celebes, Mew, Jirachi.
Something that makes Arceus original is that it is technically the head of two trios. It's the master of the Creation Trio and the Lake Guardians. In Pokemon lore, he's basically given the feat of creating the world, basically. I mean, we're talking like God level being here. It said that it hatched from an egg and it created the world using its 1,000 arms.
Big truth. There's actually a movie based on Arceus. He does some crazy stuff. Plus, there's the new game that's about to come out, Legends Arceus, that is going to be hopefully good. I'm not going to say much on that.
I mean, lore-wise, if you're talking about it's a god, sure, but in the game, you can cram it into a ball and a 10-year-old can fight with it.
Will, I think Will has a point here. I didn't really think about it from that aspect, but he's taken the approach of not just what the lore is, how are they defined through their actual games and actions and stuff.
In multiple Digimon games, there are Digimon that you can never get access to and are at the very least threats to the world, if not all of reality, all of existence.
The big issue I see with it is some of the strongest Digimon. You have this whole it's a threat to the world. The whole, you said third season, like world-eating darkness thing.
Yeah.
It was defeated by strong Digimon. But they were only able to become strong like that because of 10-year-olds.
Okay, but so the question was, which has the most powerful beings? So if that's a limit on both of them, my point still stands. If they're both limited to the strength of 10-year-olds.
You also got to keep in mind that in most of the games, you actually could not get this Pokemon unless you got it from an event. This Pokemon doesn't even exist within the base files of the game. Or maybe that's not true, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't exist just within the base game.
Pokemon of that nature, of that level, generally aren't being, captured. They choose to be in the ball. They choose. And I know in game, there's the strategy. The best way to catch a, legendary mythical Pokemon is paralyze it, put it to sleep, bring it down to 1 HP and stuff like that.
Well, so another point then. If it's a god, how can it even be paralyzed or put to sleep by another Pokemon in the first place?
Because it is still a Pokemon.
Okay, we're limiting.
I would argue that
we're limiting it to the power of a Pokemon.
Right. Well, I would kind of argue that sort of argues in favor of Will's point that they are limited by the fact that they are a Pokemon. It does have the power to create and control time. I see Will's argument, what he's making, but I do think that lore-wise, they mean for this Pokemon to be a god level being.
You see it in Digimon games too, some disconnect between lore and mechanics.
Right.
I get
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying that I'm trying to make the best argument I can for Digimon. It's hard when Pokemon has, like, if you take Arceus and if you take the Diamond and Pearl legendaries off the board, I would say hands down Digimon win, because most of the legendaries and even mythic Pokemon are just thought of as gods, right? Because they're that powerful. Like, you look at the
Right.
legend and lore around them, it's not so much that they actually are gods, it's just that they're powerful enough that ancient people treated them like gods in the Pokemon lore. But in the lore itself, Palkia and Dialga and Arceus are actually gods. This is the
Although,
disconnect that always bothered me, that you can cram them into
so
Pokeball.
Does this
Pretty
speak
deep.
to the weakness of the Pokemon or to the power of the Pokeball?
probably most definitely the power of the Pokeball, because even catching it, I mean, people go, "Oh yeah, I caught it in a Pokeball." A lot
But,
of times
okay,
it's easier
in
in an
response,
Ultra Ball. There's the Master Ball, which you only get one of.
Digimon has beings that can be defeated but cannot be contained. It's like the plot line of several of the finals of Digimon season is that there's basically, because the digital world is an actual other reality, and when it
Right.
starts to cross over with our reality, it begins destroying both of them. And there are
Well-
Digimon that can control that shift in reality.
I'll jump over to the Digimon. First, we're going to go with what is technically the most powerful Digimon, which is Gaiamon. It's actually
Yep.
never been achieved, though. Do this, which is
Achieve that state.
Yeah, whereas basically all of the Digimon become one. I would think that is the being that could take on Arceus. If you want to get into technical Digimon that exists, the next strongest one, it would
Lucy
be
or Apocalypse.
ZeedMilleniummon. He is the big bad Digi Boogeyman hiding at the end of Digimon Fusion. He basically passes freely between all worlds across space and time. He's like a big two-headed dragon guy. His particular devastating power is that he has a move called Time Destroyer, where he can banish opponents to a phantom zone between space and time.
I think we can both agree with this. That would make him at least as powerful as Palkia and Dialga. So
See, in
Right.
Arceus kind of he controls even more than that. But this is almost a little different, I would say, because his move is specifically called Time Destroyer, a void phantom zone between space and time. So I would argue potentially, if he was able to use this move on Arceus, that Arceus even being able to control space and time wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
getting almost to the level of a case of unstoppable force meets immovable object.
Right.
Like, what happened? That's a fair argument.
If you liked this highlight, be sure to tune in to the full episodes every Monday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time.